Welcome to Techstination. Joining us is Patrick Stuart, Director of Product and Business Development at a company called Hubitat, Hubitat. Thank you for joining us, Patrick.
Great. Thanks for having me.
And before we talk about your brand new latest product, give us a little background about Hubitat.
Sure. Hubitat was started by some tech enthusiasts who were very avid DIY home automation users, and we felt we could build a better product, something that we felt at the consumer level for the DIYers. There was an absolute need for something that ran locally, that was reliable, fast, and most importantly, private. And those are the things that we set out to build, and we've got a scrappy team that's been put together by our two founders. And here we are, about a year later after our first launch of our first product, launching our new hub.
And it's called Elevation, the Hubitat Elevation. Give us the overview on the features.
Sure. So Hubitat Elevation is I don't know how familiar you are with the term cloud computing and tech, but the reality is we took, the IoT world, the Internet of Things, which is all cloud-based, and we said, all automation should really be done in the home. And when we looked at the problems of existing technology out there that were cloud-based, you had this reliance on your internet connection, and not just your internet connection, but every hop in between. So if we simplified that, and did all of the processing and all of the device communications at the edge of that cloud, we can still get all the benefits of smart devices, cloud-connected devices. But more importantly, we don't need to be connected to the internet for your basic sensors and switches and dimmers and all of that fun stuff to work. So we are what I like to say is the Swiss Army knife of home automation tools for your home. So our product is just a hub, and your hub, once you've got that installed, allows you to connect to a wide variety of consumer available sensors and devices. So Zigbee and D-Wave devices are very common out there. Things like motion sensors, contact sensors, so you can tell if a door is open or closed, all the way up to dimmers and switches or light bulbs. All of these things can be connected to Hubitat and as its central hub, and then you can write logic by just simply installing one of our apps that comes with Hubitat. And we've got over 16 built-in apps that can do various things like take that motion sensor and that light bulb, and when motion is detected, turn on that light bulb, and then when it's not, turn that light bulb off. So it's kind of the brains, the rules engine, so to speak. And that's really how this whole thing started, was as a rule machine. In fact, that's our flagship application that one of our founders wrote. That allows you to really write complex rules, so you can do some amazing things. In fact, there's nothing else out there available in this space that has the level of complexity and flexibility that rule machine offers.
Now, is it made then for the average consumer, the way some of these smart home hubs have been in the past, or is it designed for the geekier among us?
Well, I think by nature we gravitated towards the more geeky folks that are out there. I think the reality is it's meant for those that have already dipped their toe into home automation. Although I will say that there's plenty of home automation first timers that are starting with Hubitat. We from a design philosophy, we didn't design something that was focused on the ease of use first part, because as we saw our competition, we saw that they may have ease of use, but they can't handle the things that people want to do. Things like when I walk into a room, turn on the lights if it's after sunset, but before sunrise, and if it is before midnight, turn the light color to a sunset color, but if it's after midnight, turn the color to a moonlight. There's nothing out there that could do that kind of logic to really customize and make your home yourself. You could turn on that light bulb with a motion sensor, but at the end of the day, everybody was pretty limited because they couldn't really write the rules that they wanted to. And so we built it around rule machine to make sure that complexity was there. The side effect of that is, like any more complex product that you buy and you want to get use out of, you've got to take some time to learn it. And so, that's where we started at the early stage. We continue to improve the product to make it more user-friendly without sacrificing a lot of those capabilities and functionality. So, yeah, it certainly helps if you have a good understanding of what you want to do. But it's really up to your imagination. We're giving you the tool set to build out, a customized home and a personalized home in that standpoint. And so just like any, complex scenario, there's sometimes more than one way to tackle a rule, which can create complexity. But we do think we have a very robust tool set that allows you to do whatever you can dream of. We can pretty much take care of it from a rule standpoint.
And not being dependent upon the cloud for your home automation, what are the key advantages?
Well, the biggest advantage, I think, to not being dependent on the cloud is the fact that things run faster. With competitive systems, you might see a scenario where an automation might take a half a second, sometimes up to 2 seconds before that round trip to the internet comes back. And a half a second may not seem like a lot to people, but in a real world scenario, it's enough time to perceive the difference between is it going to work or isn't. It's enough time to create that doubt. When Thomas Edison invented the light bulb, I don't think he ever thought that we'd be round tripping, through a Rube Goldberg-esque configuration of bounces off of the internet to just simply turn on a light bulb today. So speed is important. And so not being dependent on the cloud and not having that data having to go up to the cloud and do its processing there and come back, that means it's instantaneous. So when you tell something to do something, it just happens. And that's the way it should be. That's the way it was back in the late 80s when I started with X10 products. It was just local. It worked. And so in today's world, with all of the cloud-based solutions that are out there, it just didn't make sense to do all of that processing out there. The other advantage to not being dependent on the cloud is that we don't transmit and store any of the device data out in the cloud. Now, if you connect to third parties, like a Ecobee or somebody like that, there will be some connectivity and data being transmitted out there, or to Google or Amazon's voice assistants. But at the end of the day, that's what you control. So all of your device data stays local to the device, or to the hub, I should say. And the advantage of all that device data staying there is, well, it's private. It's not leaving your house, so therefore, it's far more private and secure. I think the third advantage, really, when we look at that, is the customization that you have, the ability to really get what you want to get done, and you're not relying on somebody's third-party tools out there in the cloud. So, yes, you have to be in your home, you have to be doing the work in your house, but from a security side of things, no one else can get to it unless they're in your house. And so, with a lot of news out there of different organizations and different companies discontinuing their products that are cloud-based, having something that has no reliance on the internet means that our hubs continue to function regardless of the state of their internet. So, if some way Hubitat were to disappear tomorrow, all those hubs that are out there are still going to be able to function at a local basis. And that was an important design consideration for us, because we've been through this. We've seen other consumer products that, were cloud-based that just stopped working. And that's an important, but sometimes afterthought in the overall process of what do I want to build my house around when it comes to automation.
And you sort of hinted around it a little bit, but Lowe's Iris, their support for that is going away, and a lot of their equipment is no longer going to work if they were reliant on Iris. And so tell us what you can do for those customers, and tell us about other equipment that you do work with.
Yeah, so I mentioned we're compatible with a wide variety of Z-Wave and Zigbee sensors. Iris by Lowe's uses a combination of Zigbee and Z-Wave sensors for their second generation and later devices. So we have some compatibility with those sensors. They were actually built with interoperability in mind, not the version 1 devices that they had out there, but in version 2 for the most part. If they're Zigbee or Z-Wave, we've got compatibility. So we're able to bring those sensors in. They have to remove them from their device, from their Iris hub, and then they can bring them over. In fact, we've had quite a few Iris customers who have gone out and bought Hubitat Elevation and have started their migration. Unfortunately, migrating from one hub to another is never an easy thing because it's essentially starting over. In a lot of ways, it's sometimes more complicated than literally starting from scratch because you have these existing devices. They're in their existing places. And you got to go out, you got to reach them, and you got to reset them. But once that part is done, it's good to be on a platform that is going to work very reliably and not be dependent on the cloud.
And what about the light bulbs and other devices that don't use Z-Wave or Zigbee, but use your internet within the home?
Yeah, so that's the unfortunate part of it is we're in an alphabet soup when it comes to standards, and unfortunately, with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth devices, there really isn't any kind of interoperability standard that exists today. So some of these devices may have a dedicated connection to a cloud service, but have no way for us to interact with them directly. So if there's no way to interact with them, there's no way we can control them. And so that's part of the challenge here. Is there's a handful of manufacturers out there that have come to market with something that may connect to an Amazon ecosystem or a Google ecosystem, but don't connect to anything else. And unfortunately, there's just nothing we can do there. These are not open standards, unfortunately. Zigbee and Z-Wave are open standards, so if it's a certified Zigbee or Z-Wave device, there's a very good chance that we out of the box will connect to it, or that if it's a new device that does something a little bit different than the standard drivers that we have, we can develop custom drivers very quickly. In fact, even members of our community write their own drivers for folks. It's not a requirement to write any code or anything along those lines, but we do provide the development tools to make that happen.
Interesting that it can be so complicated for consumers and confusing.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we'd love to solve that problem by really saying that it's important for manufacturers, and really when the consumer looks for a device, is to make sure it can work with other things. Just seeing it works with Amazon or it works with Google doesn't necessarily mean it works with everything else out there. They create one-way streets to those ecosystems. It's in a lot of ways, it reminds me of the walled garden we had with AOL in the early days of the internet. And so it's important for me and certainly for Hubitat that we support open standards. And I wish I could wave a magic wand and have the industry just wake up to that interoperability challenge that's out there. Unfortunately, everybody wants their own standard and they want their own devices to connect to their own things. We've taken a different approach. We're going to be as open as we can to try to connect to as much of devices as we can. In fact, we're making it a system in which you can literally, if we don't have it, we give you the tools to build it yourself if so needed and so available. So unfortunately, we can only go so far. It's up to the device manufacturers to ultimately embrace standards and adopt open and local secure access. Unfortunately, it was a lot easier and in the early days of IoT, a lot faster to bring something to market that just connected to one service out in the cloud. We're now starting to see the side effect of that is when a Revolve or an Iris or somebody like that goes away. We just saw Scott's discontinue their plant link because they had an outage and decided to no longer continue to support it. These are the things that are just a side effect of an industry that was moving very fast to create smart devices, and I use that term loosely, that connected to a single point out on the cloud, but not able to control it simply on your local network. And it is a problem with consumers. I don't envy a consumer today trying to find what will work with what. It's a confusing soup of challenges there. But what I do encourage people to do is look for those Zigbee and Z-Wave labels. If it is a Zigbee or Z-Wave device, it's very likely it will connect locally. And I think we will see, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth improve over time to emerge as standards.
And you have info on your website that people can look into before purchasing as well?
We do. We do have a full supported device list that lists out all the devices we know that work well. There are plenty more Zigbee and Z-Wave devices that we haven't tested that our users are finding that work. And then, when we do identify some devices that don't work, we're also quick to point those things out. Hubitat.com is our website. You can find out a lot of information. Our community, which is community.hubitat.com, is a great resource. Over 70,000 posts of our users sharing their experiences, their triumphs and tribulations, getting certain devices or just certain rules built. It's a great user-to-user community that is very vibrant and very helpful, willing to help answer a lot of questions that people have out there when it comes to these types of things. Some great experts that are out there.
Tell us about pricing and availability.
Sure. Hubitat Elevation for the U.S. market, it retails for $149 on our website. We're currently selling it on sale for $99. And we've just created our new hub, which is model C5. C5 is a manufactured product where we finally have built in the radios. Our previous products actually used USB sticks. And that gave us incredible flexibility depending on the different markets. But for the U.S. market, our C5 is now a tiny little box. It's really surprising how small this box is, that all of this horsepower to drive your house is something smaller than a hockey puck. For those that may not know what a hockey puck is, it's something that's smaller than a fit in the palm of your hand. And we don't have any external radios or USB sticks attached to this. So everything's built in now, which is a great advantage for us. And so that's available now at our website, and we'll soon also have our Amazon store updated as well.
Very cool. Again, the spelling is Hubitat. Patrick Stuart, thank you for taking the time with us.
Brett, thank you very much.
Now this. How many companies out there have continued to innovate when it comes to building a better radio? I'm Fred Fishkin, host of Techstination, and I'm here to tell you about the new CC Skywave SSB radio from the wonderful people at C. Crane. Bob and his crew really love radio, and it shows in this new compact model that is packed with features. Beyond great AM and FM reception and sound, you can tune into shortwave signals from around the world, listen to ham radio operators, aviation, and more. It's the radio you'll turn to every day, and in emergencies. It will run for nearly 3 days on just 2 AA batteries. Pair the sleep timer with the new Soft Speaker 3, and you've got the perfect radio for your nightstand. Of course, it can wake you up too. Click on C. Crane at Techstination.com and put in the code Techstination for a free flashlight with your order. They love radio, and you'll love C. Crane.